So exercise and bone density. Is there a connection? Does it matter? Check out this video to find out more.
Let's go.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Coach Tonya with Criticalbench, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about exercise and bone density. Does exercise matter? Is it important for bone density? Couple questions, so let's talk about that. But before I get into all the reasons why exercise is really good for bone density, I want you to check out the pinned comment below. This is for the Firm and Tight Mini Band program. This is a great way to incorporate daily exercise into your life very easily without having to have a whole lot of equipment. And these are workouts you can do right in your own home. I think there's 7-ish workouts. I can't even remember anymore, but there's at least 7 workouts, upper body, lower body, full body, core, stretching, everything you need to get a great workout every single day right at home. So check out that pinned comment, find out more, because I'd love for you to have that program. All right, exercise and bone density. It does matter. How many of you were surprised? The bottom line is that building strong bones is very important, because bones are what make up your skeleton, and your skeleton is your frame, and your frame is what holds you up. It also houses all of your organs. It's the structure. When you build a house, you put a frame up and then you start adding all the other pieces. So without the frame, you can't really have a house because you have nothing to hold and support the entire building. So your bones are extremely important. It's very important. And I don't know that we talk about bones enough. I mean, we talk a lot about fitness, exercising and muscles, all the other elements of health, which are extremely important. I just sometimes wonder, are bones getting the attention they need? Or do they get the attention they need, and does the conversation happen when something has gone wrong? So I want to try to shift that paradigm a little bit, and let's see if we can get a great conversation happening today about bones, healthy bones, strong bones, so that we can avoid some of those conversations that happen later that actually could be avoided, all right? So from childhood to adolescence into early adulthood, minerals are being incorporated into your bones. There's a lot of growing that's happening, a lot of fabulous, wonderful growing that's happening. And if you have kids and teenagers, you know what I'm talking about, because there's a lot of money going into feeding these beings, okay? So there's a lot of growth happening. Minerals are being incorporated into bones, and that's a really good thing. That's just how the body's meant to work. Now, once we reach around 30 years of age, is what's been, now this isn't, spot on for every single human being, but we're, around 30 years of age is basically when it's considered that you've reached peak bone mass. So when I say that, what I'm wanting you to think about is that by that age, if you have not, had a very healthy lifestyle, you might not have the strongest bones or great bone health as you could have if you did some other lifestyle things, or you might be sitting back going, dang, I know I've got some good, healthy, strong bones because I've been doing a lot of good things to build these suckers and make them strong. So age 30-ish, peak bone mass, and if you don't have really good, strong, healthy bone mass by that time, bone loss, that just naturally occurs later in life, because yes, it does happen. Bone loss does happen. Bone density loss does happen. But once that starts to happen, if at 30 you're not sitting in an optimal state of bone health, you fall into a risk group, a higher possibility of things like fractures, brittle bones that cause you to, have fractures, osteoarthritis and osteo-related injuries. So we really want to do a lot in early life to prevent that, so that when we hit that 30 age bracket, we know we're standing in a really strong, solid frame. And so even though bone loss is going to happen, we're not in that high risk group. So it's one of those things that doing a lot of the good things now really do pay off later. It's an investment. So lifestyle habits can certainly help you build strong bones and also keep them healthy as you age. So I want to talk specifically about exercise and how does that support healthy bones? Well, engaging in certain types of exercise can certainly support optimal bone health. And one of the best things that we can do for that is weight-bearing exercises. So things like strength training. And when people hear strength training, they automatically assume dumbbells or free weights, a gym with lots of metal. And a lot of people are turned off by that. And that's okay, because strength training does not mean that that is it. You have to get a gym membership, or you have to turn your garage into a gym or your basement into a gym. You got to start buying dumbbells and all this stuff, and you got to start lifting metal. You don't have to. You don't have to. If you like doing that, then go for it. But strength or weight-bearing exercises is not inclusive only of weights, okay? It's a great way to continue to increase the weight bearing on your bones, but it's not the only means by which to do that. We can use things like bands, resistance bands, mini bands, giant bands. Body weight. Yes, body weight doesn't get enough applause, so let's all stop and applaud body weight. Okay, I just said this, I think, last week in a video that I filmed. Let's say I take a 150-pound man or woman into the gym and put them on the bench to do a bench press, okay? And I put 150 pounds, or let's say even 100 pounds on the bar. So the bar is 45, then I add enough weight. Now they've got 100 pounds to lift and lower, lift and lower. I don't know how many people right off the bat could do that. Sure, if I take an athlete, someone who's been training for a long time, they probably do it with one hand. But if I just go and take 5 people off the street and say, okay, let's go and how much do you weigh? Okay, so we'll put 100, give you 100 pounds, lift it. That could be very hard, and it could cause a lot of injury, all right? But if you weigh 150 pounds and you're moving around all day, you're already moving 150 pounds of weight, albeit you're not pressing it or pushing it in one direction with it all loaded onto one area. So yeah, it's kind of not a great example, but the point is that your body weight is a mass that your bones have to support and carry throughout your day. So don't neglect the fact that if you don't have a gym membership, you don't have any equipment, that there are not things you can do to load weight on your bones and your muscles and your overall frame and structure that can support excellent bone growth, because you're using your body weight. So if that's where you can start, whether it's financial reasons or you just don't like going to a gym, you don't have any equipment, you'd rather do other things with your money, it's just not your thing. You can do things like push-ups, you can walk, you can do stairs, you can go, anywhere and find some stairs somewhere and, walk up and down stairs. So weight-bearing exercises, don't push them aside like they're not important, because they do have a huge impact. Studies. This was a study done, and for some reason I didn't write the date down. I think it was around 2015 or 2017, because I have 2 here that I want to share with you. I believe this one was 2017, but it was a study involving older men and women. I think the age bracket was like 50 plus. And they had the men and women perform weight-bearing exercises. And what they found was an increase in bone mineral density, bone strength, and bone size, as well as reductions in markers of bone turnover and inflammation. So that's just what that says, is that the weight-bearing exercises that these people did, even starting a little older, had benefits, okay? Now, and this was something else I wanted to share with you, because I thought this was really important, that strength training can also help protect against bone loss in older women, including those with osteoporosis, osteopenia, or breast cancer. So for all of you ladies out there, ladies, like men and women both, experience and can have bone loss later in life. Women seem to be at the higher end of that scale. So I really do want to impress upon the ladies that strength-bearing exercises are so important for you. It's usually not as hard to convince men about weight-bearing exercises, and it's not a tough conversation. It's not a tough sell, really, and it doesn't matter what age. It's not really a tough sell. With women, it can be, because whether they're younger or older, there's that whole, I'm going to get bulky, I'm going to look like a dude, and all these other things. But at the end of the day, no, you're not. And B, this is so good for your bones. So even all you younger ladies, if there's any of you out there watching this that are younger, start incorporating strength training and weight-bearing exercises into your fitness routines and your fitness plan, because it's going to have such a massive impact and payoff later for you. So do it now and save yourself a lot of regret or a lot of issues you don't really need to be dealing with when you get older, okay? The next study I wanted to share with you was also, this was 2015, and this was only with male participants who already had low bone mass. And what they found was that although both resistance training and weight-bearing exercises increased bone density in several areas of the body, that only resistance training showed an increase in bone density in the hip region. Now, the reason I kind of pulled this study out to talk or to mention it was because how many of you have known someone or heard a story from another person about that relative, family member, friend, neighbor fell and broke their hip? It's as common as people getting the common cold or getting a pimple. It's just a very common story. And it usually can have a little bit of a bleak outcome. I can honestly say with family, friends, neighbors, people that I've known in my lifetime that have had the fall, broken the hip, that was sort of like not an end point, how do I say this without sounding so dramatic and grim? It was a turning point, really, because quality of life just never seemed to really come back. That broken hip really halted a lot of things in terms of movement, joy, health, overall health. So when I read this study, I was really like, that's something people need to know, is that even though it was men, ladies, this applies to you as well, that the weight-bearing exercises particularly showed an increase in bone density in the hip region. And again, we hear a lot of this: fall, broken hip, broken hip, broken hip, and then what happens afterwards. So lock and load that piece of information. If you lock and load anything from this video, remember that and think about that. And for 1 hour, 40 minutes, 2-3 times a week to do some weight-bearing exercises to maybe reduce your chances of being a statistic. I don't know, what is there to think about, right? Okay, so I want to make clear, I'm not saying that this type of exercise is going to facilitate bone growth in your senior years, because that, bone growth happened a long time ago. So you either were doing things, eating like lifestyle in general, good food, lots of exercise, good sleep, all of these things that help facilitate really good bone growth needed to happen years and years ago. But weight-bearing exercises like walking can definitely help protect your bone health and slow that bone loss in older adults. So you're not going to start growing new bone a whole lot. We can with some of these studies have shown an increase in bone density, which is fantastic, but I would want to caution you is to don't get too like, okay, so if I start, if I go to the gym 5 days a week now, I'm 52, I'm going to start, growing all this new bone. Not necessarily, but you're going to do a heck of a lot more to support excellent bone strength, bone health, perhaps an increase in some bone density that if you hadn't done those things wouldn't have happened, okay? Now, I've talked with people who are really, really fearful of starting to do an exercise program because their lifestyle leading up to their senior years wasn't really good. They largely lived a very sedentary life. They become very comfortable with what is familiar to them. And even when they did exercise, they weren't very consistent. And this becomes one of those hard conversations, because it's really difficult to sit across from somebody and try to impress upon them, okay, I understand that, I hear that. However, if you don't start doing something, your risk factor goes way up, okay? And again, it's no guarantee that you're not going to have a problem. You're not going to fall and possibly break your hip. But starting to do something today, and then every day, whether it's walking, maybe you just want to walk every day, and then maybe 2 or 3 times a week you're doing something that's a little different. Like you grab your mini bands or your resistance bands, and you go to our channel and find one of our resistance band or mini band videos, and you do the follow along workout with me. These are things you can start doing now to reduce your risk, okay, and to protect your bones right now. Because I just don't think is an option. I mean, you can choose it, but I think it's a really lousy option. Sorry, that probably came off harsh, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel. We just have too much. We just have too much science-based evidence that shows us the contrary. Like that just shows us that doing these things is so good for your bones. Yes, it's very important to have established those habits early in life, but it's so important to be doing them in later life too, even if you weren't very active. So another study, another 2015, was 2015 the year of bone studies or what here? Because a lot of them look like they were from 2015. Okay, but this one's really cool. This one's really cool. In 2015, this was a study that how many people were in this? Was it 1,500 people? And this one was women aged 25 to 50. Okay, so this is quite an age category. Okay, 25 to 50. All right, so we're spanning a couple generations here. Now, they found that jumping 10 to 20 times a day with 30-second breaks in between jumps significantly improved hip bone mass density after only 16 weeks. Okay, that's pretty profound. So what I want to say about jumping, because again, I'm just assuming and thinking there's probably some of you watching going, I don't want to jump. I've got bone spurs in my heels, or my knees hurt, or my ankles hurt, or I have really bad balance. Okay, I get it. Jumping jacks. Jumping jacks are relatively safe, and they're kind of fun. They're kind of fun to do. Get your grandkids, get your kids, have a jumping jack challenge with your spouse. 10 to 20 jumping jacks. Who cannot do 20 jumping jacks? Now, if you have a broken ankle, of course you can't. But how many people really can't do 20 jumping jacks? Again, that's a choice. Okay, so we don't like jumping jacks. Or maybe, what if, what I'm trying to say is I've been doing too many videos today. I'm starting to get all tongue-tied, so I apologize. This is my last one of the day, and I'm all okay, what was I saying? Jumping. If you do have issues, maybe you have arthritis in your knees or your ankles, you just have really bad joints, you may have had a couple knee surgeries. So impact is something to take into consideration. Have any of you considered, or how many of you have a mini trampoline or rebounder? These are fantastic. I've had a mini trampoline for years. I use it every day. I wake up, that's what I do in the morning. I get on the rebounder for like 10 minutes because it gets the lymphatic system going. I just feel great. I could wake up like, it's Thursday, I have this to do, and I really wasn't looking forward to it. But 15 minutes on that rebounder, I'm all of a sudden like, yeah, I got this, okay? The thing with the rebounder is it takes that impact away. So it's low impact, and it's fun, and it's still weight bearing. You don't feel it because you're not hitting a hard surface when you bounce, because you're coming right back up. You have that rebound effect. But still, that is your body weight, so it's weight bearing exercises, and you have the jumping benefit. So you can check out our YouTube channel, because we do have a couple rebounder mini trampoline videos, how to use them, what you can do on them. These are great. They're relative. I mean, you can buy expensive ones, but you can get very inexpensive ones. Usually the legs fold up, so it's easy to store under a bed, behind a door, in a closet. So that is another way. If you're like jumping, I don't want to jump. Well, let's change the term to bounce. How many of you like bouncing? How many of you have ever gotten on a trampoline with a bunch of kids? Is there really anything more fun? I don't think so. So that's one thing you can do, because if 10 to 20 jumps a day can increase hip bone mass density after 16 weeks, why wouldn't you do it? Again, it's a crazy question. I think that was it on that one. Yeah, so I don't know. There is just too much science supporting how weight-bearing exercises help to not only build strong bones, but support healthy bones throughout life and help to reduce like a massive loss or fast loss. You know, it can help support stronger bones as you get older and protect those bones. It's so important. It's so important. I don't know how else to say it, but it is just so important. And you don't have to do anything huge and big and profound and hard to do that. You don't have to train for this. You just have to add weight or get up and move your body in a way that's putting load on your bones and your joints to help protect that bone mass. I did make a note here about jumping jacks. I keep coming back to jumping jacks because I think just jumping jacks are really easy and fun. If you think that jumping jacks is going to be hard on your joints, no, it might be. I don't know anybody's history or story who's watching this. But if it's something you're worried about, doing jumping jacks on a hard concrete floor versus doing jumping jacks on a bigger trampoline or out on the grass, a softer surface, like a kid's playroom. Some people have got like those foam pads that, kind of soften the surface. Things like that can completely game change for you doing jumping jacks. So if you think right away, I don't want to do that because that might hurt, just ask yourself, is there a way to do it that it wouldn't hurt me or hurt me less? Okay, so don't just give up because it sounds like, I don't know. But obviously, if you've got something very serious going on, then just jumping on a surface that doesn't move without balance is maybe not a good idea, okay? Now, I believe I've mentioned walking. Walking's a great weight-bearing exercise. That's going to be great to support healthy bones. And if that's the one thing you want to do, then do it. Just do more of it. Get a really good pair of shoes and make a commitment, whether it's every day, 30 minutes after dinner. Maybe you meet a friend. Maybe you join a walking club. I don't know, but walking is free and it's easy. And anybody can do it, okay? Anybody pretty much can do that, all right? Now, with strength, if you want to add more other strength training type exercises, again, a couple low weight dumbbells. Like you can buy little mini dumbbells that are 2.5 pounds and 5 pounds. And you can even take those when you're walking just to add a little extra strength exercise to your walking, your little walk, okay? Mini bands are great. Resistance bands are great. Again, make sure you check out that pinned comment because you can get a free set of mini bands with that program. Get you started right away. And again, your body weight. Don't negate the fact that your body weight is weight. And when you start to move it and push it around a bit, move it in different directions, it's going to help, okay? So I've mentioned this in another video as well. If you just feel like you need a little extra support or some more help with actually designing a program or plan for you, definitely go to your gym, your local gym, and ask to speak to a personal trainer who is specific for like what you need, okay? You can definitely find personal trainers that can help you if you want to train for a bodybuilding event or some kind of Olympic event, or maybe you're a sprinter or a kayaker, I don't know. There's lots of trainers out there. A lot of them do specialize with the type of clientele they want to work with, and I know plenty of personal trainers that do work with middle-aged to older clientele, specifically helping them design programs to help with things like bone, supporting healthy bones and just strength training to keep people healthy and fit and active with, to support an excellent quality of life as they get older. So you can always go and ask and even have a couple sessions to get a plan developed for you that you can follow on your own quite easily. So there's a much better plan for you in getting older, and it doesn't involve getting old. Things are going to happen with our bodies as we get older that cannot be avoided. However, there's a lot of things we can do to not help speed up the process, all right? The body does start slowing down. We don't do things necessarily at the same speed or intensity at 60 and 70 that we did when we were 20. But it doesn't mean that we still can't do those things in a way, modified or otherwise, to still enjoy doing those things and to support a really healthy, a really fit, a really strong body, and ultimately really strong, healthy bones. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped. I hope it gave you some ideas. If you're someone that is watching this and thinking, well, I'd really like to do something to support excellent bone health, I hope this gave you some ideas. If you have any comments or questions, please put them in the section below, because I do love reading those and I will get back to you. Make sure also you give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to click that subscription button and the notification bell so you never miss any of our great content. And before you go, if you want to start doing something today to support better, stronger, healthier bones and get a free set of mini bands, check out that pinned comment below, because we can get you going right now. Take care, everybody. Be healthy, be well, and I'll talk to you soon.